Hello and welcome to the Caymanas Park Highlight Show. This week we'll feature selected races from Saturday, November 6 and Sunday, November 7. A total of 19 races were contested over 2 days, including Saturday's gripping stakes and overnight allowance events and Sunday's restricted allowance contest. Let's begin with race 1 from Saturday. This was a claiming event contested over the newly introduced distance of 700 meters. Patrick Taylor's The Beast was a hot even money favorite.
They're off for the first. A quick dash. Smokescreen took off quickly, so Budget Racing in behind him. The Beast is also showing good early speed as Smokescreen tacks toward the far side in behind The Beast. Parajet is racing near to us in the red. In the center, Machu Picchu now trying to close up. Under the stand fence, that's Determined King, but they've got to catch The Beast and Javanil Patterson. They'll arrive at the furlong pole with what at the moment is a clear lead. Chasing all the while, that's Parajet in the red silks, but The Beast has them off their legs inside the final 16th, and it's all over. The Beast comes charging home to win by maybe 6. Parajet in a photo with Awesome Cat. In behind those, that's Smokescreen and Son of a King on the far side.
The Beast, ridden by Javanil Patterson, romped the first event by 7 lengths. The Beast completed the 700-meter trip in 41 1/5 of a second. Let's continue with race 2 from Saturday. This was a maiden special weight event for native and imported 2-year-olds going 1100 meters. Ian Prasad's debutant Brims was highly fancied among punters. Horse number 4, Devontae, was a late non-starter.
As they go flashing past the 5, Hagao, Sumai and Brinks show speed. And Brinks is the one now that goes on for Hagao, Sumai as they make their way now toward the half mile. Brinks are gradually quickening up now by some 2 lengths. Right against the rail, that's Hidden Valley now beginning to progress. There goes Runaway Algo on the outside, slipping down into second. Hidden Valley a very narrow third. Hagao, Sumai on the outside now fourth. Rainsville as they leave the 3 is back in fifth, just 4.5 lengths off that lead. Infinito races up next and Justin Biden is at the back. They've left the 5/16th. They're about to come thundering into the lane. They're at the top of it and Brinks continues to lead the way by some 2 lengths. Runaway Algo is left in the center in the blue. Hidden Valley left back over against the rail. Hagao Sumai is racing wide of those, but up front it is Brinks traveling strongly inside the final furlong. Brinks with a clear lead. Omar Walker and Brinks have opened up 6, maybe more. Inside the final 16th, there's no stopping Brinks. Brinks, if you bought it, will bring home the cash. Brinks wins by some 8 lengths over Hagao Sumai. Then Justin Biden. Hidden Valley is next. Runaway Algo in behind.
Omar Walker rode the Brinks and brought home the cash for trainer and breeder Ian Prasad. An awesome victory by 8.5 lengths saw Brinks complete 1100-meter trip in 1 minute, 7 3/5 of a second. Race 6 was a restricted allowance event going 1200 meters. Carl Anderson's entry Mind That Cat, which was expected to break from gate 10, was a late non-starter.
1200 meters, they're ready? They're off. Almost perfect start. T. Brady, as usual, comes out at the back, right in flight with him. As they make their way down the far side, Jas and Blessings has taken an early lead. JJ the striker now almost joining. Will the Conqueror and Alimony racing in behind. Artesia the Grey runs the rail right alongside Ring Charmer. Buff Bay 2 lengths in behind them as they arrive at the half mile. Turn on the light now, switched on and asked to make up a 5.5 length deficit. Old King Cole is 2 lengths back. A break of some 3 to It's a Boy, then T. Brady toward the back ahead of Oni, right in flight. They've left the 3 and run away now toward the final 5/16th, and Artesia has burst through on the fence, and Artesia gets that lead from Will the Conqueror. Alimony in hot pursuit in third. Into the lane they come. Artesia out in front and traveling powerfully under Uville Pinnock as they make their way passing the 3/16th. Will the Conqueror has stepped out wide. Alimony left to his inside. Over near the rail, that's Buff Bay. Right on the fence, turn on the light, but it's Artesia leaving the furlong pole with the lead. The rest now beginning to make gains. Artesia now getting the left-hand stick in rapid-fire motion. Buff Bay now beginning to close in on the rail, but Artesia responds to the stick and holds on to beat Buff Bay tight. It's a 3-way photo. Alimony, T. Brady, and It's a Boy all went by together.
Richard Azan's Artesia, written by Yuval Pinnock, secured the win by 3/4 lengths ahead of Buff Bay. T. Brady finished in third, followed by It's a Boy and Alimony. Race 7 was a maiden special weight event for native-bred 3-year-olds. 9 runners faced the starter, going 1,200 meters.
They're off and racing. Legal Opportunity didn't get that great of a start and is left at the back early as they blast towards the 5. El Fuego, the first timer, just the leader from the Trojan Warrior, passing the 5 on the outside. Whispering Magic going down into third. Then comes Dotlin into 5th. Going on the outside, that is a Traditional Boy right between horses. That's Dotlin, looks to be backing out. And also coming on and recovering, that is Legal Opportunity. They pass the 4, heading towards the 3, and making the running. El Fuego bouncing easily on that lead. A 2-length lead at that. Racing in second, that is Whispering Magic. Right on the rail, that is the Trojan Warrior. It's still in front. El Fuego on the inside and coming on, that's the Trojan Warrior. Also coming on as El Fuego begins to tie up, it's Whispering Magic. El Fuego still in front. Whispering Magic, a real threat on the inside. A furlong to travel. Whispering Magic, El Fuego, they're still battling. Leaving in third, that is the Trojan Warriors. Whispering Magic, now it's the front, a half a furlong to go. Whispering Magic begins to draw from a good try from El Fuego into second. Third, the Trojan Warrior. Fourth, Traditional Boy, and make that 4th Legal Opportunity. Traditional Boy completes your I-5.
There was no stopping apprentice Ocean Nugent aboard Whispering Magic, who won by a margin of 3 3/4 lengths. The winning time for the 1,200-meter trip was 1 minute, 15 2/5 of a second. Race 8 was a much-anticipated restricted stakes event, with a majority of the entries in form. The Anthony Nunes' conditioned Santorini posted the best odds for the 1,600-meter trip.
They're off and racing for the 8th. Stepping at the back, that is a Santorini. Unruly Boss took off on the far side and is up with the leader. True El Sky, Unruly Boss, as they come towards the 6 furlong point on the course. True El Sky on the rail. Unruly Boss right beside him on the outside. Den Street stalking them in third as they pass the 6 right on the rail. That's Regal and Royal. E&I Links recovering and going down into 5th. Racing in 6th, that is Nakamura, and marginally racing at the back, Santorini passing the 5. Heading toward the 4 as they come toward the 4 furlong point. Bouncing on that lead, maybe a length. That is True El Sky. Unruly Boss testing all the while now on the outside. And these two hook up and share the lead. They're 4 lengths in front of Den Street racing in third. Right there, a length and a half behind Den Street. That's E&I Links. Recovering and going down, that Santorini. 4 lengths away to Regal and Royal. And racing at the back, Nakamura. They're coming for the top of the lane. And Unruly Boss now shakes loose of a tiring looking True El Sky. Unruly Boss in front, coming on the rail and really coming on. That is Santorini, but Unruly Boss in front. Santorini coming with a good looking run up the rail. Right on the outside, that's Den Street. But this Unruly Boss is not messing around, and Unruly Boss is in front. Santorini trying to secure second. Unruly Boss in front. Santorini closing stoutly. Unruly Boss maybe a length in front of Santorini. Den Street is third. Then comes E&I Links.
It was another efficient effort by leading rider Anthony Thomas aboard Unruly Boss for trainer Jason DaCosta. The fancied Santorini was 3/4 lengths behind in second, followed by the other DaCosta entries of Den Street and E&I Links. Race 10 was a sizzling overnight allowance contest for thoroughbreds 3 years old and upwards. Here's how a field of 13 went 1,000 meters round.
Superluminal, Prince Charles, they missed the break. Wilson got off quickly. There goes Deep Blue Sea rushing up, and Deep Blue Sea gets it from Wilson. Unknown Soldier on the outside of Air of Fire as they leave the half mile. Alexa's Lodge tacked onto their tails as they run to the 7/16th. Nuclear Noon is racing up next. Another Bullet running the rail. Superluminal out 3 wide. A length and a half back to Supreme Soul on the rail. Prince Charles is wide of horses as they go dashing up now toward the final 5/16th. El Professor is settled down in behind runners. Drummer Boy is hidden in between horses and at the back of the field. That's Costa as they've turned for home at the top of the lane. A Deep Blue Sea grabs the lead inside the final 3/16. Put now to the left-hand stick to fight off Unknown Soldier. Here is Alexa's Lodge trying to close up along with Wilson. Nuclear Noon is looking for room and switch to the outside. Deep Blue Sea battling to hold the advantage. Nuclear Noon now sprouting wings on the outside. Deep Blue Sea fighting off Nuclear Noon. It's a head bob and Nuclear Noon gets up in time to win it over Alexa's Lodge, possibly over Deep Blue Sea. Then
Nuclear Noon, under the handling of Robert Hadball Halladine, exploded in the final stages to secure the win for two-time champion trainer Anthony Baba Nunes. 6 days from his previous victory, Nuclear Noon was again in the winner's enclosure, this time clocking 1 minute and 1/5 of a second, going 1,000 meters round. Following Saturday's gripping day at the track, let's recap the highlights from Sunday, November 7, beginning with race 6. This was a restricted allowance event going 900 meters straight.
900 meters straight. They're off. On the far side, Vanquisher shows speed. Mum is left in behind over on the rail. Simba the Lion with that group along with Baton Rouge. Kataba and Alexa's Dream race more toward the center. Broken Light is also traveling pretty quickly, drifting over toward the stands. Heart of the Sea is near the stand fence. Right against the stand fence, it's I've Got Magic as they come thundering up toward the final quarter. Heart of the Sea, possibly just the overall leader. I've Got Magic now beginning to find top stride. Broken Light has drifted over toward the center. On the far side, Alexa's Dream and Mum, but the action under the stands at the moment. Heart of the Sea and I've Got Magic now continuing to battle for it. Alexa's Dream on the far side with Mum now beginning to come on. I've Got Magic, Heart of the Sea and Mum now pounces late and Mum goes on to take it by 2 lengths. Close between I've Got Magic, Heart of the Sea, then Alexa's Dream. Cruella going by with Baton Rouge in a photo.
The original placing saw Spencer Chung's mum and the jockey, Aaron Chatri, securing the victory. However, following a steward's review, Mum was disqualified for causing interference and intimation and placed behind horse number 14, Heart of the Sea, ridden by jockey Abigail Abel. The final placing saw victory going to the Philip Fiani trained I've Got Magic, followed by Heart of the Sea, going third to Mum, Alexa's Dream and Cruella. Race 7 was a maiden special weight contest over a short sprint of 800 meters. 9 faced the starter.
And we're set for a start. They're off in racing. Balotelli gets a good break along with Prosecco towards the near side. Lucky Plumber also dictating terms right there too. In the mix, Princess Kaylee right there too. So Princess Kaylee, Balotelli, these are prominent along with on the far side and coming on that sweet curling. So Princess Kaylee might be the leader from in the middle. That's Morse Code. Closest to us, Nothing But Trouble. Princess Kaylee, Morse Code. These are the one that's going at it. Nothing But Trouble. Closest to us, a furlong to travel. Nothing But Trouble in front. And now it's the front and begins to draw off. Morse Code is trying to fight back. Nothing But Trouble in front and sprinting off. And this is no trouble for Nothing But Trouble. Morse Code is second. Third to Balotelli. Fourth to Prosecco. Got tied for fifth.
It was nothing but trouble as Morse Code failed to read the speed of the Randolph Scott entry. Balotelli was third, followed by Prosecco and Lucky Plumber, who were no match for the winning time of 47 and 1/5 of a second, going 800 meters. Race 8, the penultimate event on Sunday's card, was a thrilling encounter. However, horse number 8, Dad's Luck, was unlucky after being scratched from the event, contested over 1100 meters.
Fair start. Donald Mighty, though, outsped early at the back. Awesome Glitter took off quickly. There goes El Gringo. Super Amia racing on the outside. Black River is there too. She Says Yes has now gone forward to tackle the leaders as they make their way to the half mile. It's El Gringo and Super Amia now matching strides up front, separated just by a half a length. She says yes, chasing in third. Denby Life pulling right alongside. Black River is there. He can dance, beginning to boogie on the outside. Awesome Glitter as they leave the three racing in behind. Donald Mighty asked to recover, and Mama Sharon Darling just the trailer as the field have left the 5/16th and will come thundering into the top of the stretch. 2 furlongs to run. They've got to catch El Gringo. She says yes, is asked to do it on the outside. Watch Denby Life out on the extreme outside. Black River trying to sneak upon them against the fence, but El Gringo a quick change of hold and a couple of cracks of the left-hand stick, and El Gringo continues to be fleet of foot inside the final yardage. A 16th to run. It is El Gringo with a clear lead. Can they catch this El Gringo? There will have to be a mishap, and El Gringo comes in to win by 3. Over Donald Mighty, Black River, Denby Life, Awesome Glitter is 5th.
Radesh Sneaky Fox Roman, back from an injury that kept him out of action for approximately 9 months, delivered the victory aboard El Gringo for trainer Donovan Russell. The winning time for the commanding victory ride was 1 minute 8 seconds flat. Race 9 was the final race of an eventful weekend of racing. It was another battle for the restricted allowance category, going 1100 meters.
They're off. Fair start, cold pursuit and high diplomacy. Left at the back early. Danny Spud, as they leave the 5, charges up to get a very narrow lead. It's held over KD Rocket and Stevie the Great. Weekend Jazz rushing up to take the first 3 on as they're about to arrive at the half mile. Silent Seeker tracks them just 4 lengths off that lead. No Work Permit is 5 lengths back, racing ahead of Striker Twill. Helicopter now asked to gain ground. Toward the outside of horses, that's High Diplomacy right alongside and hugging the rail, Cold Pursuit. And last of all, it's I Am a Citizen. They've left the 5/16th, about to come into the lane. At the top of it, a quarter of a mile to run, and KD Rocket has assumed that lead. Weekend Jazz asked to attack on the outside. Stevie the Great running strong against the rail. Danny Spud looking to split horses. These are the main contenders, Silent Seeker and Helicopter in behind them, but down the stretch, KD Rocket, Stevie the Great over on the far side now asked to come on. Weekend Jazz is also showing good dash with Danny Spud. Here comes Helicopter, sprouting wings. Stevie the Great from Helicopter, Stevie the Great battling Helicopter. They've gone by together. It's close. Weekend Jazz in a photo with Danny Spud. Cold Pursuit has finished in 5th.
Only a short head separated Stevie the Great from the fast-closing Helicopter. The 2019 champion rider, Christopher Mamdim, was just able to hold on for the win aboard the Colin Ferguson entry. As we close out the highlights package for Saturday, November 6 and Sunday, November 7, there were 3 wins apiece for 6-time champion jockey Omar Hot Walker, as well as Juvenile Patterson. Our next edition of the Caymanas Highlights package will include the inaugural running of the Jamaica Cup, the Port Royal Sprint, and the St. Elizabeth Distaff. See you next time.